Well, Lincoln, that day back in 2001 was extremely different for everyone, but they all have a very similar memory. They all know exactly where they were and how they felt when they watched those towers fall. One similarity that they also have is that they can't believe that it's already been 20 years. Despite being on the other side of the country from ground zero, Portlanders can recall exactly how they felt and where they were 20 years ago.
Every day that we come to work, whatever our job in the Bureau is, we know that there are people who have sacrificed their lives.
Trudi Salisbury became a Portland firefighter in 1999. As the towers fell, she was at Fire Station 9. While she was just beginning her shift to keep Portlanders safe, her heart was in New York.
Obviously, a lot of, just horrible for our brothers and sisters and all the lives that were lost, and just a really sick feeling for the rest of our shift. And yeah, it was a big impact on everybody.
That impact was so big for Rob Garrison, he changed careers from a correctional officer to a firefighter.
That was probably the day that I decided I was really going to dedicate myself to try and get hired full-time as a firefighter. So after that, I started testing and doing everything I could, and right about 2 years later, I got hired with Portland Fire and Rescue.
For others like Terry Vellini, the day is personal.
I used to work in the Trade Center myself, yes, but not at the time. I knew about 4 people personally that died, and I knew several other people that actually made it out.
To this day, she still has a hard time looking at the New York City skyline without the Twin Towers there. For her, it's a reminder every day of what was lost. While 20 years have now gone by, some feelings from that day have not gone away.
It still hurts. It will always hurt because it's a scary thing, because it was war on our ground.
While the anniversary is just about over, there were a ton of events and ceremonies all throughout Portland as well as the state, including right here at Fire Station 1 in downtown Portland. You can visit our website, katu.com, to take a look at all the different events and also the statements that officials released regarding the anniversary.
Here at Longview Fire, all the first responders recognize that today is a somber time for remembrance. But for one, it also marks a shift in his career and a new way of serving this community.
20 years ago on September 11th, Mike Mann was an elementary school teacher in Ridgefield.
I remember the garbage man telling me we're being attacked, and I ran inside and saw the news. And, it just made me start thinking more and more about, I felt I was contributing to my community as a teacher, but I felt like I needed to do more.
On the 5-year anniversary of 9/11, he became a volunteer firefighter. It's now a full-time job. Today, Mann tells me he's thinking of the sacrifices made and the ways he can uphold their legacy.
Just to give the best service that we can, to make sure that we take care of people regardless of who they are, what their circumstances are. They're all the same, and if we can help one person, that makes our day and makes our career.
10 years ago, this firefighter started organizing an annual stair climb in honor of this day, with proceeds benefiting the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. Mann says they've raised about $100,000 to date, and he plans to continue this tradition even after retirement.
I also spoke with a local veteran who was deployed shortly after 9/11. We'll have more on his response to America's national security coming up tonight after the game.
343 New York firefighters died in the attacks. Those people chose to run into the burning skyscrapers, while thousands more were running out. Today, the Clackamas County Fire District 6 honored them with 343 flags outside 3 fire stations in Vancouver. That's Clark County. The flags were planted by fire cadets, high school juniors and seniors who plan to join the field eventually. They weren't even alive in 2001. Officials hope this project that is, gives them a sense of history.
It's a great deal of honor associated with people who run towards tragedy instead of running away from danger. So we feel that those people who ran towards the Twin Towers that day are people that we need to always remember and always keep in our hearts.
As you heard, a lot of cars honked while they drove by. Officials hope everyone takes a moment to remember the day.
We'll have more on this. Well, I dedicate my life to helping animals. I mean, that's what it's all about for us.
Sydney Singer is the director of the Good Shepherd Foundation.
We are an animal protection organization, and we've been around since 1949. What we are doing now is helping with emergency evacuation of animals.
That help is the website VEMAnet.org.
VEMA stands for Volunteers for the Emergency Management of Animals. It's a community outreach.
VEMAnet connects people who need help evacuating their animals in an emergency with those with the resources to help get them out of harm's way. Sydney saw the need for VEMAnet firsthand while living on the Big Island of Hawaii when the volcano erupted.
In the community that we're in, we're seeing that there was no service for people helping each other with evacuations. The government clearly couldn't help. Humane societies get overwhelmed real quickly. So people are on their own, and you need to help one another. Emergency personnel are stretched thin, and you really need to be able to have a community resource.
With the recent destructive wildfire season and other natural disasters, Singer says having a plan for you and your animals now should be a top priority.
You might be in the disaster zone, like you said, you just don't know. Once it hits you and you got to deal with an emergency right outside in your neighborhood, you start wondering, what am I going to do with my animals? And that's what VEMAnet is about.
With this website, you can turn to your own neighbors for help.
When there's an emergency, thinking of the animals like thinking of the children. For us, it's very important that people have that option.